Hey guys, it's Otto. How are you doing? I thought I'd make a little video about amps because, as you might know, I use amplifier simulators on the covers, but I'm very much an amp guy. I love the amps. I love them, I love them, I love them. And for the people who are not into stoner doom metal, the whole buzzsaw, fuzzy guitar sound thing, click away because you're not going to like it. And for the people who don't know and are curious, stick around. For the people who followed me since the old days, I've been around on YouTube since 2006. I used to have a channel called Otto GT-1 where I'd post stoner rock and stoner doom metal content mostly. In the very early days, I did System of a Down and Korn stuff, but eventually I stumbled upon stoner doom, and that was the moment I knew that existed. It was just a huge part of me. Back in the day, I used to be quite skinny. I had long dreadlocks, and I was really playing the hell out of Dope Smoker. And, you know, I got the dreadlocks because of Matt Pike or Buzz Oven, Weed Eater. And then later, I'd have the opportunity to actually play with Weed Eater or Toner Low, you know, be friends with Bongzilla, just unbelievable stuff. I started playing orange amps because I knew that Sleep played orange amps, and before that I knew that the Helicopters played orange amps. My brother was into the Helicopters, and there was a lot of orange amplification. I got my hands on an orange AD30, and I still have it to this day, but eventually I just got into the whole Matamp thing. I just knew that Sleep had those green Matamps, and I found the Matamp GT1 and started getting curious about it, so I eventually got one. What I did was I called the place and I asked the dudes, like, hey, could you have the amp say my name? Why? And have the text Weed Dragon 5000 written on it. And I remember the person who was dealing with the order chuckled, and he said that, yeah, we'll make it for you. Just lay off the weed and enjoy the amp, okay? You know, weed's not a part of my life, but the amp is, and it's very much a part of me ever since. I've had it since probably, I've had it since 2011. The GT1 is a really loud amplifier. It's like 100 watts, and you don't need to dial the volume too much to have it sound like it's all the way up already. So you can't really play it in an apartment. It's just nuts. It's got a non-master volume unit and a master volume unit. So if you want, you have a mode in which you can use the master volume knob only, and it starts out clean when you're playing quiet, but when you dial it up, you get more distortion. So it's all old school. And then you've got a mode where you can have volume and gain separately, so have more gain and play at lower volumes. I personally like to have the gain knob as an option because venues just don't allow you to play that loud. It's just, you know, that's just how it is. And it just has a really brutal sound. Something I like to do is play the AD30 and the Matamp GT1 together. They go through this AB box, there's two cabs. I have a Matamp 4x12 and an orange 4x12, and I run both amps into those. People ask me, where is your Matamp? Do you still have orange amps? Yes, they are, but they're in band practice because I have a band. People ask me, do you have a band? Yes, it's Kaiser. It's a stoner rock, stoner metal band. So how I got into this music, I think, was really thanks to Pantera. Actually, I started out listening to System of a Down and Korn, all that kind of jump the f up kind of stuff, and eventually got into Pantera, the whole southern metal thing. And then my friend talked about this band called Down. He's like, dude, you got to check out Down. I'm like, what's that? Phil Anselmo's in it. What is this music? It's kind of groovy and slow. What is this music? And then this friend would talk about Caius, and eventually I found Sleep, and fell in love with Sleep, man. Like, Sleep is my favorite band, and Sleep's Dope Smoker is my Bible to this day. I love that guitar sound. By the way, you have to excuse me. I don't have a mic stand for guitar amp recording anymore, so I had to just get a bunch of XLRs to get the SM57 to the cab. It's just really, really pathetic, I know. So most of the stuff on this channel is all about amp sims. I rarely use guitar pedals either. It's kind of interesting, and I've recreated the Sleep Dope Smoker tone on Guitar Rig 5. You can get the preset on my Patreon, and I was really happy with that. But then I do a bunch of recordings, had conversations with my bandmate, like, man, like, what is it about this sound? Like, it feels like something might be missing, and I'm just thinking, I don't know, it just... to my ears, it sounds so good. And then I'd EQ the hell out of these guitar tones, try to dig out the fuzz and the buzzsaw sound, and it just wasn't really sounding right. And I think I ultimately realized this after having a live show with Kaiser, and we had kind of this multi-track recording of the show, and we had a kind of a slow stoner doom piece, and I was mixing that, and I thought, holy f***, the guitar sound on this. There's this part right when the drums and bass kick in where I jump in the air, the toggle switches on the neck position, and you just hear this sound. And I'm just looping this over and over again, just 1,000 times. I'm probably not even kidding, probably 300 times. And I'm like, what the f***? And I thought, like, dude, of course, the amps, you know? So I thought I'd bring the Matamp home, do a little bit of testing, and see how the amp tone compares with the amp sim tone. To my surprise, the amp sim tone is pretty good, but there's something about the Matamp that sounds fuller. In this comparison, I find that the Matamp has a bit more of this growling mid sound, and what I've noticed from the live Kaiser recording, that was the AD30, by the way, it just has this growling, I don't want to say fuzz, it's just the growl. It's just this guttural middle frequency rumble, this kind of purring sound. I just can't get it out of the existing amp sim tones that I have. The amp sim tones have, you know, a good frequency entirety, and you can get some really sick buzzy sounds. The high end has a lot of things going on, but just that rumble is like gone. And I think the problem with some amp sim tones is that if you really dig in with the EQ to try to find out what the high frequencies do, it often sounds kind of static. Somehow. Just depends on what you're using and all this. You can do all kinds of stuff on Pro Tools, but I just find the high end to be kind of static and uninteresting. There's something about it. Even playing guitar solos, I find that there's just a certain sound to amps still. But I've noticed it. You know, I've used distortion pedals on certain covers on this channel, and I realized that, man, even if you just put a pedal in there, there's something about it that's just more pleasing to the ear. So amp sims are cool. I've got some really sick guitar tones. I'm very, very happy with the System of a Down guitar tone. I'm very happy with the Korn one right now. Slayer one's fun, but goddamn, there's just something about the amp, dude. But regardless, I think as far as stoner doom kind of music goes, I don't think I'll ever get rid of the amps. I could never see that happening unless venues don't allow it. this video, I used the rat pedal. Rat pedal's great, it's simple, to the point. In Kaiser, I used the Dunwich DA120. That one is killer. That is like Sleep's Dope Smoker in a box. But the Rat sounds super similar. Sun uses rats. I'm a huge fan of Sun too, by the way. I mean, that's why the Weed Dragon 5000 logo has the brackets. The Weed Dragon 5000 name, you know where it came from? It came from Cooter Brown, the bass player of Bongzilla. Nicest guys ever, by the way. Yeah, Cooter Brown, aka Weed Dragon. I thought that was the coolest name, so why not have it on the amp? Also, when the Matamp arrived, I had the boxes for the amp and cabinet, so me and my friend like took the cardboard boxes and made a little parody video of the Weed Dragon 5000. We like wrote Weed Dragon 5000 on the box for the head and had like bottle caps as the knobs, and there was like a superpower knob and a fuzz knob and
So this is how you turn the thing on. There's the standby and it's on. So the amp's got the following knobs. You got your master, your gain, you got your middle, bass, and your fuzz. So the special thing about this amp is the super power knob right here. It changes your power of the wattage of the amp from 1000 watts to 5000 fucking watts. It's not for pussies. And because this amp has a built-in voice box, when you turn it on, it's going to say the following.
Hear my superpower.
See?
like it's just. Then we put a Roland microcube in it, and then it's like, yeah, this sounds awesome. I can't explain, just the weirdest things.
This amp also has a built-in transistor amp, but kind of lost the knob for it, so won't see any of that. Maybe wondering that why this amp doesn't have a power cable attached to it, but that's because it runs on batteries.
Anyway, guys, I don't have much else to say. I just love amps, and for the people who've used amp sims exclusively for a long time, give real amps a go. It really surprised me. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time.